Welcome back to Finn versus History.
Hi.
Beside me is Horatio. He's gone early.
I've jumped the gun a little bit there with a big long hi.
Horatio, that's Horatio Gould.
Hi.
And now, listen, we've had a lot of fun on this podcast recently.
Yeah.
But that has to stop.
Yeah.
It's
time to eat your greens.
It stops today.
This is serious.
This is serious now. In the last few weeks, you've had Iranian Revolution, you've had scientific racism, you've had a fortnight on the Nazis.
Stop messing about.
Stop messing about. This is a serious show.
Lives are at stake with this one.
This one is serious. Which please stop joking around. Today we're talking about the Renaissance.
A little bit less light-hearted than last week.
It's none of this kind of Holocaust frills.
Can you really make jokes about the Renaissance?
I don't think you can. I think it's too heavy a topic, and I think this whole podcast will crumble this week. The Renaissance, just too many people care too much about what happened during the Renaissance.
Yeah.
It's not like the Holocaust.
I don't think the Renaissance happened.
You're a Renaissance denier, really? What Renaissance? I reckon it was like 3 paintings done. I reckon. Only about 3 paintings. Listen, if the last few weeks we've been throwing red meat to the base, the fan base, this week it's time to eat some tofu. All right? Really, really grim, wet, slimy tofu.
We've gone through the Rust Belt, and now we're going to the swing states.
Yeah,
and we're just trying to maybe going to the states who are against us.
Yeah, exactly. We know we're not going to win, but we've got to go there anyway. We can't give up on democracy. We're talking about the Renaissance. This is perilously close to art history, which is, to give it its proper name, lesbian history.
Interesting. So not gay history.
No, lesbian history.
Yeah, interesting.
Impenetrable. Both art history and lesbians. They don't want.
Did you mean that when you said impenetrable?
Yes, I did. Yes, that's why it's lesbian history. Everyone I know who's an art historian is a lesbian.
Admittedly, they all wear Doc Martens.
Yes,
and they go to New Cross.
Yeah.
They what was it? Goldsmiths.
Yeah. The history of art, from a straight male perspective, who gives a shit?
Well, I'm a little bit fruitier, so I actually quite like art history.
I don't really like art in general.
You were bad at art at school, weren't you?
Very bad. I am very bad at art in general.
Yeah.
I'm bad at making art. I'm bad at looking at art, and I imagine
you're terrible at drawing.
So bad at drawing.
So Dominic Sandbrook's bad at art. My other co-host Andrew's bad at art. There's a lot of people you could just tell that you were shit at drawing.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what I can do is that, that trick where it's the only thing I remember from art is where you draw a brick wall and you draw a guy with a big nose looking over a brick wall.
Yeah.
That's what I can do. I can do that. I do that really well. And it blows my toddler's mind every time. She's like, how have you done that? In many ways, it's like the Renaissance when they'd forgotten how to draw 3D.
Yeah, the first guys to do it was easy because they had nothing. What they had to compare it to was rubbish.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the dark ages artistically still. I've not reached my Renaissance of art.
It said that Caravaggio was a creep, a paedophile to be precise, the kind who lurked near schoolyards.
Right, Charlie, you've jumped the gun quite a bit, Charlie. Just googling artists and paedophilia. I can't draw. Can you draw?
I'm all right. It's much more conceptual. I've got a good imagination. I've got a bad penmanship.
I'd say your imagination needs to be reined in. I think. I think it's dangerous imagination.
I think however good at parking you are is how bad at conceptual art you are.
I would completely agree. Yeah. I'm fucking excellent at parking.
I can imagine you're very good at parking.
And not only that, I'm very good at telling women I'm asking them if they'd like me to park it for them.
Are you
I'm very good at that.
You're doing a slow hand clap when a woman parks?
No, what I do is I do mark my wife's work. Is that she's less confident driving, but I
wonder why.
With good reason. Good reason. Because I won't let her down. Sometimes it's like 2 feet from the curb, and I'm like, do you want a white van man to scrape the side of our bright blue cash guy? Is that what you want to happen? Because it's going to happen. 2 feet from the curb. What's that?
Now I don't even know how to drive.
Sometimes she just parks at the other end of the road. She goes, no, I can't get in there. It's like 2 spaces worth. She could have gone in front end.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was very much a kid who wasn't told no creatively.
Right. I see. Yeah.
Crayons on the wall.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. We put a stop to that.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
So art doesn't do much for you.
Now, parking history, the history of parking, that's something that's a straight male topic.
Is there any sort of painting that has moved you? Have you been moved by a painting?
I tell you what, I'll tell you what happened this week. On Wednesday night,
right.
Amanda was out, my wife was out, and I thought, well, this is a good chance to Charlie's just Googled what the gayest painting of the Renaissance was.
They're all gay, Charlie.
Yeah, this Renaissance is the regaying of the world, really, isn't it?
True, it was straight for a long time because the Romans and Greeks gay, and then it was straight for ages, and then it was
the straight ages, the dark ages,
the Black Death, straight as fuck.
Straight as fuck. Nothing straighter than everyone dying. Then the Renaissance, people get gay for a bit.
Yeah.
Then you have the Restoration, which is full gay, cocks out in the mouth. That's as gay as it got.
And then the Victorians say, let's put a
rein it back in. World War II, the peak of straight. No, it's never been better to be straight than in World War II.
And then it started getting gay straight after World War II.
Yep.
And we're still in the tail end of the gay times.
Yeah, I'm really, really waiting for the next big swing back to straight.
COVID, that's quite straight.
I guess that was quite straight, yep. Stay indoors, not go outside. No, don't want to do anything, thanks. Just
also aesthetically, it's not very woo.
No, it's not. The streets are empty. The theatres are closed. It's pretty straight. No nightclubs. Straight, please. I'll just like to sit indoors and just stare at a wall. Just see out my time on this planet.
I'm only allowed to see 5 other people. This is brilliant.
Brilliant. Absolutely ideal for a straight man. I only like 5 people.
2 friends. Yeah. I only see them once every 10 years.
Yeah, it means I now don't have to awkwardly. Do I shake her hand? Do I hug her? None of that.
Yeah.
None of that. I just go, no, thank you. Keep your distance. Keep your distance.
So you were saying?
I was saying, so Wednesday night, my wife was out, and I thought, well, this would be a good, given that we're recording on Friday, I'll watch a documentary about the Renaissance. And one thing led to another, and I ended up just watching Zulu for like the 10th time. What a film. What a brilliant film. First line, second line, third line. What a great film. Loved it. Work of genius. Michael Caine's first film. Brilliant.
Now, how does it, was it just, they said
my hand slips.
The history of art, and you're like, fuck this. Let's go back to the good old days.
I searched Renaissance documentaries on YouTube, and then my hand slipped to Apple TV. It slipped again to press rent for £3.49, and then it slipped and pressed play. And then Zulu was playing, and I was having a lovely time.
Yeah, this is like you trying to say, you cheated on your wife, and you're trying to explain it.
Yeah.
Baby, I thought it was you.
Yeah. But anyway, then as ever, after watching Zulu, I went on the Wikipedia page for Rorke's Drift, and there's a painting of Rorke's Drift, and I found that very moving.
Right.
Given that I just watched Zulu.
Right. So you like the paintings where because they didn't have cameras, they're just drawing what happened.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah. A bit like that Ken Burns the Civil War documentary.
Right, yeah.
But I found that very tough.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into that.
Yeah, that was like Ken. All right, someone hasn't said no to Ken for a while. He's been let off the handle a bit.
Just a slow zoom on some paintings.
It's like, Ken, you don't have to make it as boring as possible. To be honest, I think the last couple of weeks, there has been too much information.
There's been too much information.
So this one's going to be it's going to be up there with the Greek episodes as some of our worst ones yet.
Well, it's just that I don't really know what to do with it. I go to a museum and I look at something.
Well, it's just like it's like your latent sexuality. You don't know what to do with it.
It doesn't make me feel anything. And then I think, what am I missing something?
Yeah.
And I see other people staring at it.
Yeah.
And I just think I could Google image this.
Do you agree with this?
Charlie agrees. Yeah. I feel like going to a museum, I could, if you say it's Titian, right? I could just Google image Titian, get it up big, and I've seen it.
Right.
I tell you what, the real fucking big ones, the ones that are like, I don't know, 10 meters across.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's a big painting.
Because you can't really see that on Google Images.
No, I'm like, I'm glad I came out for that. That's big.
So like Guernica, that's a whole fucking wall, basically.
Yeah, but as we've
described,
as we've described, that's in a Patreon episode, I think, when we did the Nazi Guernica. Like, I mean, what the fuck's going on in that painting? That's like wingdings. I don't know.
But what we said was that everyone said this is this great, amazing depiction of
so moving, and you go, what the fuck? There's like a horse's head in the corner. There's a guy.
Well, we thought they didn't actually paint Guernica. They just thought it was Guernica, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's what I was meaning to do."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, it was that. It wasn't me. Just
it's close. Like, that's when they got bombed, I reckon. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't really know what's going on with art in the modern day. So the Renaissance,
the modern day is starting to take the piss now.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be looked back upon as a great period for art.
Well, it seems again,
I don't like the conceptual stuff, and it's the classic thing that people who don't understand art say is like, "Oh, I could have done that," and they are idiots, but they are also right.
There'll be there'll be something like the Today programme. They'll go, and the winner of the Turner Prize is a woman who's done a shit on the floor. Or something. that's the new winner. You know, what's her name? Tracy Emin. Oh, it's a bed. It's a sofa. It's a
woman with the dirtiest bottom in the ward.
That's basically what the Turner Prize is. Just a woman who's done the biggest turd on the floor of the National Gallery. So
I guess how I'd judge it if an art's good or not because the conceptual stuff, it's like, how do we even know? Does it make you feel a strong emotion, I guess, that isn't boredom, right?
Yes.
That's because it's hard to
I tell you what, I
conceptualise.
saw the Mona Lisa in the Louvre when
Rubbish.
I was, I must have been a teenager on like a school trip. And it's behind so much glass.
Yeah.
You know those kids at school with the really thick glasses made their eyes look massive?
Yeah.
That's what the Mona Lisa's got.
Right.
One of those like like a specky kid. It's so small, you're so far away. I had a real visceral sense of being ripped off. In that I was like, really? This is the thing? This is it?
Maybe we'll talk about this today. I don't understand why it's the most famous painting ever. I guess it's the most recognisable painting. You've seen it memed. There's shit tourist T-shirts with it on.
Yeah.
So when you actually see it, it's more like just getting a glimpse of a trashy celebrity, isn't it?
Sort of. It's like a paparazzi photo of,
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's like, oh my God, that's the...
Daniel Westbrook.
Oh, fuck, I grew up watching that.
Oh, it's her. She's got no septum because she does so much coke.
Right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good to see in real life.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah,
She has got a big nostril in real life.
This is my favourite painting.
Charlie, what on earth's that?
I saw it in Athens. I don't really know what it is, but
Is this you doing lucid dreaming where you draw what your dreams are?
Is that a big poo coming out of a boy?
it's a little cowboy and he's lassoing a kind of little boy's willy. Pretty cool.
That's quite
It's
inappropriate,
massive
Charlie.
as well. Does it move you?
Yeah, I guess it makes you feel
It
something.
moves me to want to fire you.
So should we talk about the Renaissance?
Yeah, come on. We've had our fun.
What's really fucking annoying about this topic and what makes it quite impenetrable, much like a lesbian, as Finn would say.
Well, they like being penetrated by plastic.
Yeah,
That's the strange thing. Is that... Do you know what I mean? It's like...
well, not single-use plastic, right?
No, they're very environmental. I mean, lesbians are probably the most environmentally friendly people there are. Because they don't reproduce, which is
Right.
environmentally
That's
very
number
unfriendly.
one. Yeah.
The most environmentally friendly thing you could do is either kill yourself or be a lesbian.
Right, and
For the
but
environment's sake.
straight men kill themselves the most. So I guess that's...
Because we care about the environment. That's what Greta wants us to do.
So what annoyed me about this topic is listen to every podcast, every expert on the Renaissance likes to say that it doesn't exist or have a hot take about it or says that everything that we know about it is wrong, but then they say something completely different. Did you
Right.
find that? It's just, it's always like, well,
What
they
I
said
found-
it started in Florence, but it actually started in Germany. Oh, you think it's like the European Golden Age, but in China it was better and it's Western imperialism. Better. They did actually, it wasn't a dark age. It was actually the best time ever when they're all pig shit dying in the Black Death.
I mean, the main research I did seemed to suggest that the Renaissance
Well, you
happened
watched
in
Zulu, so-
Natal colony in the sort of late 19th century, and wave after wave of these awful, terrifying warriors with their short spears were being bravely gunned down by beautiful uniforms. Oh my God, don't get me going. Oh, I love it. I mean, we are going to do an episode on this, so we should keep our powder dry.
Keep the powder dry.
What I'll say is I've already started researching it and I had a lovely time. Anyway, back to this nonsense. So the Renaissance is generally considered, as you said, we're doing it
So the
let's
general,
talk about it as if it's a real thing.
But the general view, like the child's view of it, is no one knew anything. Everyone was thick. They'd forgotten everything, and then they're like, "Oh, remember the Romans and the Greeks?" And then there's this huge flourishing of painting, architecture, and kind of led to like a golden age around Europe, and eventually led to the European dominance on the world stage, right?
Yeah.
But then, a lot of nerds saying, actually,
There's a lot of wokery
Yes.
to the Renaissance, saying we shouldn't call it that. We should call it the early modern period.
Early modern, that's something. It's like, can we just leave it? Is it?
The statues
No
are
one
nicer.
knows when it started. No one. It was good. Like they probably were better at art than they were before. Let's just admit that. It probably was some of the best art.
Yeah, because the towns that,
Well,
like,
actually, in South America, they had. No.
it's not called the fucking Brazilian Renaissance, is it?
No.
It's not, everyone's got a big bottom now.
So I guess where you could say it started. This is also coming off the back of the Black Death, basically. So COVID
Death
ends.
of colour. Come on. You can't call it that anymore. The death of colour.
It's I guess COVID, after COVID we could have a new Renaissance.
Post-COVID. Yeah, but that the equivalent would be like
Racist podcast.
Influencers being the Michelangelo of their day.
Yeah.
Like Munya Chihuahua paints the inside of St Paul's Cathedral
With content.
with reels.
He projects his reels onto
He projects his reels onto the inside of St Paul's Cathedral. Yeah. That would be the equivalent.
So kind of the starting point, which is highly contested, but that's boring as hell, by a guy called Petrarch, who's a poet, who's crowned poet laureate in Rome. He found some letters, old letters, written 1,400 years earlier by Cicero.
Yes.
Roman
he finds a book.
philosopher. And it was writing about the fall of the Roman Republic. And he then went into a YouTube wormhole, hyperfixating.
Yeah, the algorithm just took him
and
down this path of Roman and Greek stuff. And this is in the 1300s.
Yes.
Do you want to place this for us?
Right. So this is in the late 1300s. So this is after the invention of the jerkin.
Yes, which is, remind me what that is again.
It's some sort of clothing. Right. When was the jerkin invented?
You fucked it. It's before they mentioned the jerkin.
Fuck.
But jerkins are invented during the Renaissance.
Yeah, fuck. Right, so it's before the invention of the jerkin.
Yeah.
And it's after the invention of the shoe buckle.
Right.
The
shoes have buckles.
Well, let's see, because it's another...
You've beyond fuck this. Mid-17th century. Mid-17th.
Fucking hell.
Give yourself. You're running these so tight recently.
Yeah. No, I'm getting cocky with it.
You are.
Yeah. Because also I don't plan them beforehand. I have to just pull them out my arse.
Okay, so this is...
Do you want to give it a go?
Right, 1300s. This is after the invention of the sundial. People are telling time with the sundial.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that 1500 BC, that's a big net.
Exactly. Places it perfectly for the listener. So after they mentioned the sundial, but before the invention of the wristwatch.
Yes, yeah.
So
before the invention of the iPhone.
1868. Patek Philippe, which is one of the great, if you're into vintage watches, that's Patek Philippe.
So it's before 1868 and it's after
1500
2000 BCE.
Exactly. People at home will be so grateful for placing this perfectly in the time period. You know that time period between 1500 BC and 1868? That's what we're dealing with here.
That's your Renaissance.
That's my Renaissance. It's the Middle Ages, that's how I see it. Everything else is, So this guy Petrarch, he's knocking about in northern Italy, I think.
Yeah.
And we should talk about how the reason the Renaissance comes about is because Italy is not Italy.
No, it's city-states.
It's city-states.
Florence, Milan, Venice,
so
Kingdom of Naples.
I mean, it's big cities that are kind of ruled by tyrants, basically. And like mayors, like how Tucker Carlson thinks Sadiq Khan's running London. that's what 15th, 14th century Italy is.
You speak out against him and you'll be dragged out and beaten in the streets.
Yeah. Paddington's been hanged and his marmalade sandwich. Marmalade sandwich has been.
They killed Paddington.
They hung him outside Buckingham Palace. He didn't want to be made trans. They made Paddington trans.
The Carlson of Peterson. I think there's something to the right-wing intellectual having a high-pitched voice.
Yes.
I don't know what it is.
Ben Shapiro's the opposite.
Yeah, you go to London these days. And,
but then left-wing intellectuals are just fucking incomprehensible. Like Zizek and all that. It's just Christ, just like a bear having a mental breakdown.
Peterson versus Zizek. It was
Christ, turn it off.
It was a real argument for centrism, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
They should send them all back.
Give me Rory Stewart any day of the week over either of those two fucktards, honestly.
Rory, what's so interesting? Alistair.
It's like his personality's trying to escape his face.
Yes. Yes. No, when I was a member of the Taliban...
He's always about to come, isn't he?
Yeah. But politely. Sorry, I'm just going to...
Yeah, he's the guy who doesn't stop talking about his gap year. That's Rory Stewart.
Yeah.
We get it. You were in Afghanistan for 15 minutes, lad.
Hey, do you know what, Rory? You ever thought about getting a fucking cab? I'll walk from London to Afghanistan. Idiot.
Yeah, the hardest geezer, most boring geezer.
You ever heard of Lyft? Anyway, listen.
What were we talking about?
We're in Florence. We're in Florence.
We're floundering in Florence.
We're in Florence. Now, have you ever been to Florence?
I want to, but I haven't.
It's a third world country. I was there in September.
Tucker Carlson now.
But I was there.
The Medici's, since they've stopped running it,
it's gone down. It's in the toilet. It is. I was best man at a wedding in Tuscany. We tried to get back from Florence. There was some rain, and the airport just leaked water into the shops. Italians were screaming. It was like the Titanic. It was insane. Right. And then they basically cancelled every flight out of Florence.
Well, it's raining.
It was raining. Yes, exactly.
So
it's raining in September.
it's not safe to fly.
No, of course it's not. You can't fly in the rain. You're mad. What are you, Protestant? Then the entire airport, so like thousands of people are queuing for one taxi rank, and it's a Sunday night.
Right.
So Sunday, they're too busy eating their grandmother's pasta or whatever, licking out their mum or whatever they're doing. Right. So, just like Mum used to make it, right? Cab drivers are pulling up, seeing the size of the queue and going, nah, just fucking off. Every third cab driver goes, nah, I can't be arsed. And there's a queue of 1,000 people in a rainstorm just waiting to get in a cab.
Yeah, it's the Mediterranean. They didn't spend all their energy in this period.
I know. It's a third world country. And this period, it was a first world country.
Yeah.
That's why.
But they're so exhausted from all this shit.
I know.
And now they're just like, fuck it.
That's why it's like Britain now. We did all our work in the 1900s, 1800s, 1900s, and now we're just sort of we're a second world country now, I'd say. So we're in Florence.
Yeah, and Petrarch finds some old letters. He hyperfixates on the Romans and the Greeks, and then kind of begins rebirth of interest.
Yeah, and there's also, we should talk about the Medici family,
right?
Who are, I guess, would you call them like Mediterranean Rothschilds?
Yeah.
In that they're like a sort of banking dynasty.
Yeah, the mafia. The history of the mafia, you could see it can be linked back to.
Do you think?
Well, this style of the way that they ran it.
Protection racket.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, literally, I went to Naples. We parked the car, and someone said, €15 per protection.
Really?
And we're like, protect from who? From me.
Me. Yeah, I punch your car if you're not giving €15.
All I really know about the Medici is Assassin's Creed 2.
Are they in Assassin's Creed 2?
Yeah, they're kind of
they're
the big bad guys in Assassin's Creed 2.
I thought that was the Templars.
Yeah, but that's like the overall thing.
Oh, right.
And they're implying that all bad guys are part of the Templars in history. They haven't done a Nazis Assassin's Creed.
No, they've done a Victorian London one, but they need to do a Nazi one.
They should do a Nazi one.
Yeah, of course they should.
That would be great, because imagine the villains of the Nazis. That's the best villains.
I'll advertise it for free.
And then the assassin's Jewish. That's unbelievable.
That's unbelievable. Break into the camps, and you're doing like that off of like the watchtower.
That would be unbelievable.
And you're like blending in with all the striped pajamas.
Yeah, and then you kill Hitler at the end.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Who makes? Is it Activision who makes?
What, are you trying up Ubisoft?
It's not Rockstar, is it?
It's Ubisoft.
They should make a GTA Nazi GTA.
Right. Which side would you be on?
Nazis.
Right.
Nazis pre-1941.
Okay. Well, is it Nazis in Poland?
It's like Crystal Nazis. Just smashing up shit. Oh, Christ. Anyway, look. Stop having fun, listeners.
This is a serious...
Please, can we stop for a minute laughing about the...
People painted in this era. All right, we've got to take this seriously.
This is serious. Several people painted. It's not funny at all. Medici, they're bankers.
Yep.
And a lot, I guess, one of the currents of the Renaissance starting is that there's a lot more trade routes.
Italy is the Silk Road, which has been running successfully for thousands of years, and the centre of the world has all been in kind of the Middle East, Islamic Golden Age, China.
Yeah, China.
When it hits Europe properly, it all goes through Italy. The reason why the Italian cities are so rich, like Venice, in northern Italy, Genoa and all that, is because the trade, that's the first route that all of these goods from the east will come through. So lots of this new merchant class appears, as opposed to it being this kind of really feudal thing.
Yes.
You just have like aristocrats, knights, peasants. Now you're having this kind of new middle class who are new money as well and are trying to show their wealth. It's new money trash.
Yes.
Let's paint a big fucking naked boy on the ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, it's the equivalent, isn't it? Like a footballer's house.
Exactly.
St. Paul's Cathedral.
But it's as if footballer's house, the trashy thing to do was fund a flourishing in the arts. But it was a different time. Because now it's just buying like a new build mansion, right?
Yeah, and a Rolex.
Yeah. But instead, it's like if Wayne Rooney commissioned, like, I don't know.
Tracy Emin to do a shit on the floor.
I mean, with his sexual habits, he probably pays for that behind doors.
You probably bash Tracy Emin. She's a granny, isn't she?
Yeah, he loves it.
Medici is a banker. They're bankers. And money lending is a sin at this point.
Yes.
So they do...
And that's part of the reason why Jewish people historically have done money lending is because they've been forced to do it.
Right, but in Italy, Jewish people are doing it because the Catholic Church has said it's a sin. So Christians aren't doing it.
Yeah.
So Jews are lending money.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the Medici, they get round it somehow by, I think, spending their money rather than lending it to people. They go, well, we really like art. I think the first Medici is a big Ponzi art guy.
So they're sort of arts washing in a
basically,
way.
Yeah, like the Saudis.
Yeah.
So Medici, I think they start in Florence.
Yeah.
I think one of the first things they do is that in Florence they build a massive cathedral, but no one knows how to do a dome.
Right.
So they've left the dome of Florence Cathedral just open because people have forgotten how to build shapes.
Yeah. But they used to be able to do domes in the Roman.
Yes, but no one knows how anymore. So they start a competition, which I think Medici must fund, to build a dome for Florence
Soggy
Cathedral.
biscuit.
It's a yeah. There's a big game of soggy biscuit,
and then at the end they're like,
the loser
I don't think this has solved anything.
Yeah, right. It's actually a knockout round, so it's really brutal. Really brutal.
Oh, he's still got to fix that dome.
Oh no!
I feel we need to try a different competition.
What do you mean I haven't won? What? I'm just through to the round of 16. Fucking hell! I got to do this. I got to do this 4 more times. I got to win. Match play soggy biscuit. Brutal.
Well, it should be knockouts. You just keep. They just keep taking one person off at a time.
But I reckon that should be like the Davis Cup or the Ryder Cup, and that we should have Europe versus America soggy biscuit.
But in pairs, you're in pairs.
Yeah. I think we did quite well. Anyway, stop this.
This is serious.
There's a cathedral without a dome here, for Christ's sake. Stop making stupid jokes.
The rain might come in.
The rain might come in. They might have to close the fucking cathedral and abandon all flights because there's rain. So Florence Cathedral doesn't have a dome, and then they have a competition. Scaffolding's not allowed for some reason.
Right.
So they have to build a machine to get stone or whatever that high.
Right. The Duomo.
This is one of the central, the first big things.
And you can climb it in Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, in Assassin's Creed 2 you can fly off it and stuff. It's pretty sick. Would you say this is the first Renaissance architecture? Maybe this is 14.
Well, this is
1419. A guy who wins the soggy biscuit competition, Filippo Brunelleschi. Brunelleschi. Hey, I'm walking here.
Don't touch my Brunelleschi.
Yeah, Brunelleschi. He starts designing the dome, and it takes like 20 years. He builds a little like a winch machine, like a crane, and there's like it's
like a catapult, but.
Yeah, but it's got stone attached to string, and that's lifting things up, and then so it's like a pretty. Nothing's been done like this before. It's sort of amazing engineering.
There's a lot of engineering in the Renaissance, I guess.
Because before this, I don't know what are they doing to build stuff.
I think they're just getting mud off the floor and then just fucking patting it.
Yeah, is this house mud or food mud? Is it food mud? All right, I'll eat that. And then I'll just slap it on. Yeah, so this is the era of inventions.
Yes.
Because I think one of the central things that they rediscover is it called vanishing horizon perspective?
Yes.
Do you want to explain what that is for people who have mortgages?
You'd set a horizon in the background and then you can have like a sense of scale and perspective, so 3-dimensional painting.
So when I draw, I can't draw vanishing horizon.
If you look at the bio tapestry, for example,
yes,
that's just 2D, it's flat. Everyone's flat Stanley.
That's how I draw.
That is just
That's how I draw. I'm drawing the bio tapestry.
And then they understand, because of this new birth of not just arts, but engineering and kind of understanding of space and construction, I think that's also helped them understand the perspective.
And I guess people will be thinking, well, why did people forget this for 1,000 years? It's because when Rome fell to the barbarians, everyone fled to Constantinople.
Yes.
And the Holy Roman Empire moved east. Constantinople, they're still like doing stuff, but in Europe, all that knowledge basically disappeared.
And then in 1453, which is a bit later, it's after the cathedral, so the Renaissance has definitely already started. It also gets another boost because Constantinople falls to the Ottomans, and then all of their scholars and knowledge.
Yes, please, my friend. Yes,
yes, my friend.
My friend. Yes,
chili
please.
Garlic. Anybody next, please?
Anybody? Yes, please.
They flee to Italy.
So they have Constantinople swaps engineering for kebabs.
Yes.
And then it's when they start to combine those that you get Donomy and the big turny thing.
Yeah.
So the main Medici guy, so the family is like for generations, they're bankrolling this new interest in buildings and very boring art.
Yeah.
But Lorenzo de' Medici, who's called Lorenzo the Magnificent, he is a patron of the arts.
Yeah.
everyone in Florence, in Genoa, in wherever, Verona, they all have rich people, patrons, who are funding artists to do mad shit. And then it's kind of the competition. The artists are basically, they're just following the money. And they're like, who can give me the most money to do the most outrageous shit? And the person who paid for it, it's seen as like a flex.
Yeah.
So Lorenzo de Medici, he starts a sculpture school in his garden. Basically, Lorenzo de Medici is like sort of Arsene Wenger in that he's investing in this sort of youth squad.
Yeah.
And
they've got a class of '92 feel about them actually. This squad that come up.
Yeah, it's like once in a generation.
Right.
Like Botticelli.
I mean, that's a silly name. You can't be called Botticelli. Botticelli.
And it's not funny because it's so important.
Yeah.
This painting, someone painted this, for Christ's sake.
For Christ's
sake. Wipe that smirk off your face. This is a serious painting. Right. This is epochal. If you're listening on Spotify, switch to video. This is the most important painting in paintings history. Is it? I don't fucking know. It's this and the Andy Warhol baked bean can. That's what we're talking about here. Now, the reason this is important is that there's a horizon which they weren't able to do.
Yeah.
Up until this point, everything had been about churches. All paintings have been about churches or religion. This is one of the first paintings that's taken inspiration from antiquity, the Greek myths,
Venus,
and also she's nude.
Right.
She's got a kit off.
So it's like a page 3 when that first...
The Renaissance could also be sort of understood as the birth of porn.
Right. Well, porn drives technology, does it not?
Exactly.
Well, it's the rebirth of porn.
It's the rebirth of porn.
Romans and Greeks were doing it.
That's the porn era, and then the Dark Ages where there was no porn. And then...
Well, so what Patriarch did is he found an old dusty zoo mag.
Yeah, in the woods.
And it was like, fuck.
Oh my God. They're doing what?
They did what?
Guys.
I've got an idea.
And that collides with the printing press. They're like, fuck, we got to disseminate this. Yeah. We got to spread this around.
Doesn't collide with the printing press. I bet they're like, well, we got to find out a way to make this.
I'm hand copying this porn. This is devastatingly slow. We got to just get this out
for
quickly.
1,000 years. No porn. They're just sitting there going, I don't want to change anything. What's the point?
Yeah,
I'll just keep drawing. This is fucking boring as hell.
Yeah.
Then tits come in. It's like, we need to fucking invent like a machine to print it out. And then because I can't do quick enough. And then we all do it. And then you get like thousands of tits. We send that out to everyone. You know?
The Gutenberg printing press is essentially it's a jazz mag factory.
Yeah.
Because before this, they'd only been able to do 2D tits.
Right.
And this is the first time.
We need to find out a way that we can have perspective.
Yeah, so the nipples there and the tits there.
Because if you have a two-dimensional tit, then you don't get to see the kind of whole...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the birth of Venus, for those listening, she's a pale, milky pale.
Yeah.
She's got long hair that's covering her rat.
Yeah.
Venus's rat.
Yeah, no wonder lesbians like art history.
Oh, well, exactly. This is my point. We're now getting more lesbians listening to this than we probably ever will again. Just reckon with that. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? So what happens, the other thing that happens in this time, the printing press starts in the mid 15th century, is it 1436?
I think it's about, it's mid 1400s.
I think 1436 is imprinted on my brain from school as the printing press. And this essentially changes people's relationship to religion. Because no one can read at this point, right? Everyone's a thick, ugly cunt.
Well, don't slag them off.
No, they're all thick, ugly cunts, right? And so...
I'm sure some of them are very nice.
No, they're all thick and ugly. And basically, it's the church telling them to do what is in the Bible.
Yeah.
Go, don't do that.
Well, this is a huge amount what Protestant Reformation was
exactly.
about.
This leads to the Reformation. But then they start printing Bibles, and so people can actually get their hands on the Bible. And then people who can read go, it doesn't actually say any of the stuff about indulgences or paying you money.
Or sucking you off.
And then Martin Luther nails something to the door saying... He
says, I have a dream.
I have a dream to make this church even more boring. One day, little black boys, little white boys, they'll all be fucked by priests. They'll be judged by the tightness of their batty, not by the colour of it. Anyway, he nails theses to the door. Protestantism is born. A great day for us both.
Yeah.
My point is that suddenly nudity in paintings becomes a thing because the church's power over people is starting to weaken.
Yes.
So this is why in the 14th century onwards, 15th century onwards maybe, paintings are just nudes because it is the birth of porn. So you got Botticelli,
the
Raphael's another one.
School of Athens. So this is recreating.
Oh, that's true. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are all named after Renaissance painters, aren't they?
So who is it?
Donatello,
Yeah.
Leonardo,
Yeah.
Raphael, and is there a Michelangelo?
And who's the rat called? Is he called fucking
Splinter.
Splinter.
Yeah.
Who's that?
I'm Splinter.
No, I mean, which painter was Splinter?
Oh, it's not.
Oh,
No,
right.
no, I don't think it's.
So no-
I think there was a big rat painter called Splinter.
Plato-
Splinter's the name of Venus's rat. Oh Christ! Right, so
that's
is
Plato speaking to Aristotle. Plato's pointing to the sky because he think you should be able to work things out with your eyes closed, and Aristotle's pointing to the ground because he's like, "Now you got to see it."
what a genius.
And so this is the School of Athens,
But then we talk about Michelangelo,
Yep.
right? Firstly, he was not at the Battle of Rorke's Drift.
right?
Michelangelo wasn't there,
That's interesting.
which is interesting
Yeah.
considering that
You'd think he was.
you'd think for such a key player in the Renaissance, you'd
Yeah.
think he would have fought in Rorke's Drift. Didn't kill any Zulus, this guy.
Right.
Him and the first wave of the what we now call
Zulus.
Renaissance,
All
not the first wave of Quechuayo's Zulus. The first wave of Renaissance artists, of which one was Michelangelo, they were actually considered at the time to be artisans. So they're like builders. They're like brickies.
Well, that's what
Because
painters were.
all this stuff is decorative rather than art
Yes.
in and of
You're
itself.
just a skilled artisan. You're just yeah.
It's
You're
only
skilled.
the-
Like
it's
you're
only
in a-
the, in the next wave where they're considered artists.
So yeah, at this time they're like sort of coked up scaffolders.
Basically. And so the Pope or whatever's like, can you do St. Peter's Basilica? He's like, oh, I don't know, mate. Oh, I don't know. You're looking at least...
Yeah, that's pretty fucking.
I'm going to have to get a lot of Polish guys in for that.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Right, I'm
going
gonna
to
get a big pair of tits and put it right on the ceiling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
And
gonna
he's
cost
knocking
you a
the
lot.
walls. He's like, that's not built properly, mate. That's not solid. I don't know. Who built this? Who built Romans? I
Cup
don't
of
know.
tea, yeah. 6 sugars, please.
Please, 6 sugars if you would.
Yeah. When Michelangelo's phone rings, it's unbelievably loud.
Yeah.
He's
He's eating breakfast every day in like a calf with red and brown sauce.
Yeah.
Big copy of The Sun. He's calling into LBC. I don't fucking believe it. Why have we forgotten about Southport? We're not talking about it anymore. Those beautiful girls. That's what Michelangelo's saying.
Anyway, let's go chisel a tiny knob.
So he does the statue of David. Now, people have been making statues of David. This is David and Goliath from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
People have always been making this. No one's ever made it life size from one block of marble.
Yeah. Well, it's like peeling an orange with one peel, right?
God, you're so autistic. That's something you do on Saturdays, isn't it?
Well, you know, that's the impression of doing it with one piece of marble, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like without
right.
having to break it at all.
Yes, yeah. I will say this. I couldn't do this,
Yeah.
to be fair to him.
I could do that. That's me and walking around this. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, right.
I could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's so different about modern art and this sort of stuff is when they sellotape a banana to a wall.
Yeah. Do you think people at the time are going, well, fucking, I'll do that?
I could do that.
What, you call that art, do you? Have you seen who won the Turner Prize in 1501? It was fucking a guy with a tiny cock. Yeah, we could all do that, mate.
Oh, you'll all do that.
So he carves this out of one single block of marble. So Charlie's just zooming in on David's cock there.
I mean, it's quite extraordinary.
It's amazing pubes.
Huge dog.
I mean,
huge cock.
He's got a great tummy. He's got those great cum gutters.
Huge, viscerally huge cock. I don't understand why they've made it so big.
I like
Yeah.
the pubes.
The pubes
Trim pubes.
are intensely hairy,
Yeah.
but organised. So
Let's go to Leonardo da Vinci now.
Da Vinci is he's kind of a polymath, right?
Yes.
He's not just a painter.
Was he the first kind of Renaissance man? Like the idea of Renaissance man comes from him,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So this is Da Vinci.
So you got that horizon,
So he
that
does this, and
perspective.
he does this, and he does Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa.
And
he
invents
does the
Etruscan Man.
Yeah.
Right. So those are his big three.
Yeah.
Are they? Right. So the Last Supper. So this is a painting of Jesus. What's he doing? He's ordered 5 guys.
Yeah, he's
gonna
gone
be
to Nando's
crucified.
to save money. This is like the Nando's 12. Do you remember that? There was the break-off party.
Oh yeah. For
It was kind of like a rebellion against Corbyn. There was a centrist breakaway, and they did this big picture of them all at Nando's.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah,
yeah, independent group.
yeah. So this is very much the modern day Last Supper.
The independent group. That was fucking mental. You've got Chakramuna, you've got Anna Soubry giving
Right.
it the eyes. I will tell you this, the women in the independent group do hit a nerve with me sexually. Sexually, if I have a type, it's women in the independent group.
Right.
But yes, Anna Soubry, Sue Barker, and Hazel Irvin.
Yeah. Lorraine Kelly.
Lorraine Kelly, I'm absolute toast. Blindfold me, tie me up, put me in a room with them, I'm gone. Absolute smoked salmon, me.
Well, yeah.
Squeeze a bit of lemon on me, I'm done.
Yeah, nice little New York bagel.
Absolute
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese everywhere. Yeah, that's my Renaissance. Yeah, so the independent Leonardo da Vinci paints a picture of the independent group at Nando's.
So why is the Mona
goes,
Lisa so famous?
Can you type in why is the Mona Lisa good?
If I was walking through a gallery and it wasn't famous, I wouldn't think much of the Mona Lisa.
No, but supposedly her eyes follow you, don't they?
Women rarely smiled in paintings like that.
Cheer up, love, might never happen. Yeah, she just tried to park.
Innovative techniques like sfumato
What's
for subtle graduations of light and shadow, and his masterful portrayal of the subject's enigmatic expression and human-like qualities. I can understand that. It just doesn't. I don't understand why it's the most famous.
So she's kind of pouting. She's smirking. She's she looks a bit.
Because there's
smug,
better Renaissance ones. I feel like the technique's amazing on it. The face is very emotive.
Got a podgy face.
But it's the expression is.
Now,
it's the smugness of the expression, I guess.
Was he railing her? Is that why he painted her?
Well, no one really knows because she was like maybe the daughter of some noble, but it's not clear. She wasn't even that famous. It's very. I guess probably what was so exceptional was to have a portrait of someone who's not super noble.
So she's
birth.
common, and I think there is something about how he was boning her. And that's why it's called the Mona Lisa.
Well, it feels like we shouldn't be looking at this. This is private.
He drew another one. He drew another one called the Squirter Lisa.
Right.
He's left that one. That one's whistled past through to the keeper. I don't know why it's good. It's also tiny. You've seen it in real life.
Yeah.
Absolutely tiny,
Yeah.
like a postage stamp.
Yeah, but your view of how good a painting is how big it is.
Genuinely, that's true. There's a guy called Benvenuto Cellini. That means welcome, doesn't it? So he's called Welcome.
Welcome, Cellini.
So he's like an African footballer. He killed 3 people. He
like a rapper.
He got convicted of sodomy wherever he went against men and women.
The Christian church outlawed sodomy.
But is it non-consensual butt stuff?
In this country, it was legalized by John Major.
Is that what Black Monday is? The market's crashed because it's
not illegal.
So this guy Cellini, he's kind of a mad artist, but he gets away with it, and he's hopping around all the little Italian city-states, and he's just looking for the most money to build stuff. And someone in Florence pays him a lot of money to build a 2-foot cast bronze statue of Medusa. And what he does is, because he's the generation after Michelangelo and Da Vinci, he builds it and he puts it in the same square as David, and he points it at David as if his one is turning David to stone.
Right.
And this guy argued that was the first piece of art installation.
Right.
And it's
Curation.
the first thing that an artist has done that's having a dialogue with other art in the space.
That's good.
How'd you like that?
That's pretty good.
You've been listening for 50 minutes now. You finally got a bit of fucking info.
That's something.
Yeah.
Well, we've given you one thing. And I think with that, we're probably going to have to leave the Italian Renaissance.
I think what we'll do is in our next episode, we're going to deal with the
Northern Renaissance. I actually prefer. I think there's some more mad shit. We're going to the Low Countries, Flanders, Netherlands.
Oh, I wonder what the Dutch and the Belgians are doing.
Yeah. Well, this is the only time they're actually interesting.
If you can't wait to see what Belgian art in the 16th century is, join the Patreon. Never has there been an
influx of patrons.
My God, they're going to flood in this week. Their appetite's been whetted with what are the Belgians doing? What art is the Belgians?
Simply cannot wait any longer.
My God, that country that we all know and love, that we're always going to.
Well, with the patron system, the word patron, it comes
true.
from.
That is very true, actually.
If you join the Film as a History Truther tier patron, you are patronising the arts.
You are. Basically,
you're the Medici to our Da Vinci and Michelangelo.
Totally. What basically it used to be in the Renaissance that one rich person would fund artists.
Yeah.
And now what's happening is that thousands of poor people are funding a racist podcast. That's how patronage has changed over the years.
True.
So if you would like to...
It's a populist movement.
It is populist. It's anti-intellectual, vehemently.
But it's sort of like the way that the church goes around and collects, you collect coins at the end. We're like the church, right?
Well, no, I'd say that we're
Pop-ups
I'd
and
say
green.
we're the Renaissance in that the church is like goal hanger.
Right.
They're like the big podcast stables.
Yeah.
Somehow, our patrons are paying for us to dismantle
To draw tits in 3D.
orthodoxy of the church by putting out a racist podcast that somehow is above the rest of history. So if you'd like to join the movement, and if you'd like to find out what on earth are those fucking Belgians doing in art, then sign up to the Patreon, just £3 a month. You get a bonus episode every Friday, as well as a whole host of exclusive episodes from when we just started this podcast. Anyway, either way, thank you so much for joining us on this incredibly serious day.
Yeah, God. It's amazing that we managed to get some jokes out
Can we just have a minute's silence for all the paintings that have been done? All right, we'll see you next time.
See you next
Thank you.
week. Bye.